can't believe your future employer is telling you, like, why did you write the word come?
All over the internet next to your name.
Hello, and this is Katie Mack, the host and creator of Single Sounds, the very first podcast that helps single Londoners find a date. And huge announcement on this week's episode, huge, is that the highly anticipated Single Sounds live show is happening in 1 month's time on Wednesday, the 28th of June. Woo! I'm so excited. What is going to happen on this evening is I'm going to be interviewing some single Londoners in person for you all to see, maybe. There will be some special guests, interactive elements, and most importantly, a singles event after party where you can meet previous guests of the show and who knows, maybe meet your next date from the audience. Ooh. Tickets are on sale now. You can find them in the show notes under this episode and the link in the Single Sounds bio on Instagram at Single Sounds. Get them while they're available as there is limited tickets and I can't wait to see you there. Back to this week's episode. This character is always on the hunt for a good story, but if it leads to a relationship, she won't be disappointed. She can't promise she will be on time for your date or won't finish your sentences, but she will entertain you with her vivacious personality and make sure your social media is locked down from any potential employers. Let's begin. Hello, welcome to Single Sounds.
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get into your quick fire round. Pique the listener's interest, what you're looking for dating-wise, your who, what, where. So first off, who are you sexually attracted to?
So guys, I like a guy, not a girl. Sorry, girls.
It's okay. They'll go over it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all fine about it. So guys, where? London. I'm based in London, work in the East End.
Nice.
Proper like rough. No, I'm joking. It's not really. But it is a bit Bethnal Green, I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah, that is a bit rough.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. But I don't live in the rough part of East London, but I do live East London. So happy to travel around London. I work quite central and east, so.
Yeah, East is well connected.
Yeah.
And what are you looking for?
So probably someone a bit more serious, like actually want to date someone and like get to know someone. That would be really nice. But equally open to sort of like a good story, a nice day, nice people. As long as you're not an idiot or a lot horrible, then let's go.
A nice experience.
Yeah,
I like that.
Sure.
I'm looking for a nice experience.
I'm looking for someone nice and kind.
Any height, age preferences?
So I'm only 5'3". So height has never been a problem for me. Like,
that is nice.
Like, okay, there are guys out there that are probably shorter than me or the same height as me, but it's quite uncommon. So, I'm not too bothered with height. Age, my friends will like laugh at this, but I definitely like an older guy. So I'm 29. Don't know if you want us to disclose that sort of thing. Fine. So I'm 29. So I generally date sort of like 30 and above as a standard. But, if you're a nice guy and you're out there and you think I'm great, right on in.
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Yeah, that's fair. I do feel like women date up a lot, so I don't think it's too uncommon.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's no reason for this. It's just like something that's happened.
Maturity levels.
Yeah, possibly that. No, but over the years, I don't know why that's happened. I'm just like, no. It's like, it's so ridiculous, isn't it? Because I'm sure there's lots of lovely younger guys that are very mature, but I'm yet to find any of them.
Yeah, there's a really strong trend in my friendship group that I don't think any of our long-term boyfriends are under 2 years above us, as in age-wise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then one of my school friends recently, she was like, I actually met a nice guy on Hinge. I was like, oh, go on. She's like, so I'm 27, so he's 35. And I was like, see the old ones. Yeah.
You just need them to be a little bit more grown up, a little bit more like have their shit together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they tend to then treat you better, be nicer.
I think as well, like an older guy is probably more willing to sort of be a bit more serious or like look towards the future. Whereas like someone my age, if I'm struggling to like find my balance, how can I expect a guy to also find theirs? So I think dating older is definitely more common.
Yeah.
Especially now.
We're going to move on to your 3 A's. So acceptance, adventure, and affection. Going to start with acceptance. first question is, what would your therapist say about you?
Book a bloody appointment. Hello.
Come visit me.
Have you got my number? She'd probably say, 1, book an appointment. 2, meditating before you sleep is not therapy. It's not a coping mechanism if you're just going for a nap. And 2,
so
she'd probably be like, crystals are in your head. Just come and speak to someone.
Crystals,
yeah.
Okay,
I'm not like massively into it, but like
you dabble.
I'm like, they're on the side, so like it must be doing something right.
Well, if you get out the right one,
rub it on me before I go to work. No,
I actually don't really know how they work.
Do I? But they're nearby, and in my head, I'm like, do you know what? It's got to be doing something. Hopefully, because there's no therapist involved. They probably should be.
That's really, is there like a romance one? Is there like a love one?
Sound like an expert on it. So rose quartz is supposed to be like quite good at that. Yeah. It also looks so pretty. So like put it on the side, it looks lovely, like no one needs to know, but you know, am I walking around holding it? I mean, my friends are like, no.
No, some people do have it on necklaces.
Yeah, so I've got jewelry and stuff that put like, because obviously once I got really into it, all my family were like, oh, this is so easy to buy you gifts now. And I was like, so now I've
You're
got
not
loads.
wearing any though.
No. Maybe I should have been.
Should have been wearing that romance
My friends
one.
all joke. They're like, oh, just get the crystal butt plug out and chill out. I don't have one.
Caveat, there was one.
Caveat, I don't have one. However, that is a common joke. If someone's really stressing out, we're like, oh, do you want a crystal butt plug? And they're like, God.
It's really funny.
Get out of my face.
I feel like there's so much content there to like rip your friend that's into the crystals. Like you can just keep going.
They do it all the time as well because none of them are into it.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them. They're all like, you're absolutely away with the fairies. And I'm not. I just like got a hobby for like 5 minutes. But now I use it all the time, like in jest. I'm like, oh, do you want this? And they're like, shut up.
This will help.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay. And what is your most toxic trait?
I've got 2.
Okay.
One that I think people say about me and one that I think is mine.
Oh, nice. So, that's a good angle.
So I think what my friends, family, everybody around me, people at work would say my most toxic trait is thinking that I'm going to be on time for something, knowing full well I'm not going to be.
You've convinced yourself that you're on time.
It's like a disease, I'm sure. So I am that person that will lie in bed procrastinating until about 5 minutes before I need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But it will be a 30-minute journey away. And I'll still be like, it's fine, I'll be on time. And obviously turn up 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
Plus. So like this weekend we went to this food festival thing. And my friend messaged me, she was like, well, let's get there at 1 rather than 12:30 because, you know, you're always 30 minutes late for everything. And I was like, yeah, sure. I texted her and was like, I'm going to be late. She was like, what, for 12:30? I was like, no, for 1. Because I've decided that I can just do an every drop-off en route. And like, she was like, for God's sake, stop doing this. So she and everybody else around me would say being late is definitely a toxic trait of mine.
Yeah.
And then I actually think my toxic trait is finishing people's sentences. I know I do it and it's annoying. It annoys me when I do it, but I can't stop myself. It's like, it's like
I do that too though.
It's like in my head I'm like, oh, it's because I'm intuitive. No, I'm not. I'm just an arsehole. Like I
was going to say sometimes I do it to almost let someone know that I am enjoying their story / engaging with them.
Yeah, so I like to tell myself that. But sometimes I'll guess what they're going to say and they're like, no.
Oh.
Shut up. Like, stop interrupting me. So like really I think that's my toxic trait because it annoys me. Even as I say it, I'm like, what? Shut up. Just listen. What's wrong with you? You don't have to talk all the time. Yeah, shut up. So I think that's my toxic trait. And I think, to be honest, my friends would probably agree as well. They'd be like, yeah, it's that as well.
I don't know. I think it's quite endearing. Maybe I'm saying that because I do it too. Biased.
Yeah, no, it definitely annoys me and it annoys everyone around me, but they just politely look at me like...
Yeah, I think then they can make a joke out of it, being like, oh no.
I almost wish people did it more because I'd probably stop myself. Like, it's quite unconscious at the minute. I sort of just do it. But if people corrected me all the time, I'd be like, no, don't say anything.
It'd be in your mind, like, fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough. Okay, we're gonna move on to adventure section.
Oh no.
So you're gonna take us on an adventure with your stories. Oh, I didn't ask. Is it a worst or a best dating story?
I don't think it's the worst.
Okay.
But it's up there.
Okay. Go on then. I'm ready. Got my popcorn.
Caveat, nothing to do with the guy. Guy was lovely, really nice guy.
Interesting.
I am the problem here. Okay. So when I was younger, I used to date a lot. And like, it was like a sport at uni. Tinder was like fresh when I was at uni. So dating for dinner was very much like a theme. So I've always dated for a funny story. Like I'm just like, do you know what? It'll be fun. Let's just go and see. I mean, hence probably sitting here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the best method.
Yeah, very much like do it for the story.
Yeah.
And this one guy, so we lived, at the time we lived in Tottenham, which sounds really rogue, but like it was, to be honest, it was pretty rough. And we had a 6-bedroom house with a whole bunch of friends, really social, like obviously a few years ago now.
Yeah.
And we had this one room that just basically like people would move in, then they'd move out and then move in and move out. So it was pretty much constantly on spare room. And we posted it on spare room and this guy messaged saying, hey, love your profile, not that bothered about the room.
Oh.
Do you fancy going for a drink?
That's amazing.
And I was like, group admin. Obviously, control freak. No, so I was group admin, and I sort of like messaged back like, "Oh, this is quite random, but like,
fun.
Fuck it, like let's go." So we went for a drink with this guy, and we get there, and it's in this little pub. It's quite busy. There's like a football match on, and like I talk with my hands, and I'm sure it will show. I talk quite a lot with my hands, and he'd bought me a glass of red wine and he was like sat with a pint. And in this conversation, I've knocked over my red wine. Drink number one.
Oh no.
All over him and his crisp white shirt.
No.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm obviously like, I'm so sorry. I was like devastated. I was like, don't worry. Like, I'm so sorry. And he went off to the bathroom and in a panic, I've called my housemate. I'm going to name and shame him, Matt, because his mum is the queen of stain removing.
Oh, nice.
And like we grew up together, so like I've known her. I was like, ring Jill and find out how I get this out of his shirt. I was like, I need to know how it comes out of the shirt. I was like, do we have any products at home? And he was like, yeah, of course. So he's gone into the cupboard. This guy's like blow drying himself in the bathroom, and I'm like, what have we got? And he's like, we've got, Vanish Oxy Action and blah, 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 all this stuff. So I was like, great, cool, fine. In a panic, he's come back and I'm like, I'll get that stain out. Don't you worry. I've got Tupperware Jill on speed dial. And he was like, right, okay. So we have a few more drinks. He's very chill about it. He's so nice about it. And I'm mortified. And we wrap up a few drinks. I'm like, right then, let's get that stain out of your shirt. Obviously just invite him back to the house, not thinking like what this looks like. I'm just very keen on getting that stain out. Like I've promised it and that's what I'm going to deliver. And like the reality is I've just invited this guy after a few drinks back to my house. So this is a dumb move from me. So we're in this taxi back and it starts to like realization hits it, like sets in. And I was like, I've really messed up here. Like we've had like 2 drinks. I've like spilt one all over him. Like I'm not really equipped for this situation. I don't know if I can get the stain out either. I've got no idea.
The right
Such false confidence in this stain removal. So we get back to the house and like everyone's gone to bed. Like it's not late, but it's late enough on a school night. And obviously he's seeing the inside of our house because it's all over spare room.
That's how he saw it.
So I give him the full tour as if he's going to move in. And we've done a lot of that. Like there's been a lot of like sales pitches on the house recently. So like I was well prepped for that. And we walk into the kitchen, show him the kitchen. It's a big open plan kitchen. And my housemate has stitched me right up and got every single stain removing item out on the side like I'd premeditated.
Spilling it on him.
Spillage. And I just wanted the ground to swallow me. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this wasn't planned.
It's
this
like
wasn't
your murder
planned.
tools.
This wasn't planned. This was like the panic in my voice was hilarious. So he's like, oh, so do you want my shirt then? And I was like, oh no.
Oh, it looks like you're going to try and undress him.
So I'm like, he's like taking his shirt off in my kitchen, which is shared communally by like 6 other people. So he's just stood there shirtless in my kitchen. I'm like soaking his like shirt. And I was like, well, what do I do with this shirtless guy in my house on a Tuesday night? Like, what am I doing? So obviously he stays. I don't know what this is about me or him. But
I had a nice time.
Yeah, I mean, must have done. I felt very bad about the stain, put it that way.
It's making up to do.
The worst part was I lived on the 4th floor of this house and I'd not been on a date for a little while at this stage. So as we're going, like creeping up the stairs, shirts in the wash, you know, like good housewife. We're walking up the stairs and I get a round of applause from every single door we walk past because they all knew I was on a date with the guy from Spare Room and they all knew about the stain remover that was positioned down. They'd strategically gone to their rooms to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm like I was like, this guy must think I'm an absolute psycho. But he still stayed, which was surprising to say the least. So it's safe to say he got his shirt back in pristine condition. Can I just say I got the stain out? But we never spoke again. It was awful. So devastating.
Oh, I can't believe though that I never spoke again, even though he stayed. That is quite shocking.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like crazy went on when he stayed, but like
I still think he would have just made
shirtless.
I don't know. I feel like true. And he didn't want to borrow anything because then like he'd have to give it back.
Here's a silk shirt that I wear to work.
Yeah.
Imagine. Yeah, awful. Absolutely awful. I felt dreadful.
Okay. And what would your TED Talk topic be?
Oh, God. This one's quite bad. So I am very passionate about spreading the word about having all of your social media checked before you apply for a job.
Okay.
And locking it down. So I changed jobs about a year ago and they did say to me, like, we're going to do a really thorough background check. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, my Instagram's locked down, my Facebook's locked down, you know. I've got no other social media, so like, cool, carry on. Turns out I had a Twitter account from university that I didn't know was still active and existed. So I haven't used it for like 5-6 years. And to my horror, they called me about 2-3 weeks before I was due to start this job and said,
so you've already signed the contract?
Signed the contract.
Oh,
I've
gosh.
quit my job. I'm literally like weeks out from starting this job. And they call me and they say, oh, can we have like a little, you know, Teams meeting to discuss your employment? And I'm thinking, oh, cool, that'd be start dates, you know, the normal, what to do on your first week. And they said, oh, look, we've gone through everything. Your background checks have all checked out, with the exception of your social media. There's some questionable social media activity. And I'm like, what? Sorry? Mine? Like, because I know mine's locked down. And I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, they must have someone with a similar name to me. But it's not that common. So I was like, maybe not. Bear in mind, I have got off a flight from New York that morning. I've had no sleep. I'm so jet lagged. I'd caught COVID on the flight. So I'm also feeling horrific.
Rough.
Like, I'm literally feeling horrendous. And I was like, I'll just get through this call and then I'll nap. And we get on, and it's like the head of HR and just like a junior HR person taking notes. And I'm thinking, that's weird to tell me my start date.
Yeah.
Bizarre. And they were like, we've looked through your social media and it's flagged a few things. And I was like, no, what? And it turns out a fair few drinking games from uni had come back to bite me in the arse because I didn't know I had Twitter, but the internet does not forget. So I had them pull up in front of me on the screen and read out some tweets from when I was at university. And to say they were mortifying would be an understatement. Like, they were horrendous. Like, I cannot describe how mortified I was sat there. At that point, I'm thinking, I've lost my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to be homeless. Like, you know, when you like to catastrophize things.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there thinking...
Yeah, because you're thinking every other
at this point, I was
going to
like,
find this.
At this point, I was like, if I died of COVID right now, so be it.
Maybe it'd be okay.
So be it. At least I went out with this, I guess. So
no future prospects.
So she reads them out loud and they're on the screen in front of me, like literally screen grabs from a Twitter account that I didn't know existed anymore.
Yeah, so reading out loud was not necessary.
No. I thought she did it for effect.
Yeah,
I'm
dramatic
sure.
effect.
She was like, we can understand, like, we can see you've not used this account for years. Like, we totally understand, like, people do things when they're at uni and things like that. And we can see it's when you're at university. And I was like, it was a drinking game. I lost a drinking game. I'm like...
Yeah, did you say they were, like,
yeah, I was like,
people?
I was like, that doesn't reflect me. Like, it's absolutely not something I would say or put out there now or then. But it's just a case that I've lost a bet in a drinking game. And now all of a sudden, all these horrific things are all over the internet. So she was like, don't worry, we need you to take it down. So I get off the call. So my little nap is gone.
Yeah.
I'm going through every single part of my social media to find out what other horrific things are on the internet that I've said or haven't said. We joke though, but like she said the word "come" out loud, and I was like, oh, "Sorry, what?" So she
I can't believe your future employer is telling you, like, why did you write the word "come"?
All over the internet next to your name. Horrendous.
Okay, we're going to move on to affection section. So what is your biggest ick?
I don't think it's controversial. I think a lot of people will agree with me.
Go on.
Adults on scooters. Get
out. The like e-bike. No,
e-scooters. Rollerblades. even a skateboard.
Anything for a child.
I am all for a hobby. Like everyone should have something they enjoy in life. But if it was designed for a 5-year-old and you are in your 30s, get in the bin.
Stop.
Like, I want to be sick, like horrendous. But I don't think that's controversial. I think a lot of people would say that. And do you know what's worse? If they've got a speaker.
Yeah.
If they've got a speaker as well.
Blaring on their e-scooter.
Go home and think about what you've done, because it's not okay. Sorry.
Rollerblades, another one. That's an interesting one. That's more a hobby. I don't
want to like downplay. Like, everyone should have a hobby. It's like lots of fun. But I don't know what it is. Have you ever been through Hyde Park and they were like doing
and they
those
put out
like
their little cones?
Yeah. Oh my God. I've never dried up quicker. Like, it's just horrendous. I don't know why. If someone said, oh, do you want to go rollerblading at the weekend? I'd be like, no, because I'm not 7. What do you do? Like, no. Maybe I am controversial, but I think it's an ick.
That's so funny.
Never dried up quicker.
No, I do think the little cones are an ick. Like,
you've had to premeditate taking cones to the park.
Picturing someone at home thinking, ooh, I know, cones.
Today, should we...
Also, imagine ordering those cones on Amazon. Where'd you get them from?
Do you know what the worst part is? When they don't even have proper little traffic cones. When they've got like the football cone. Do you remember at school when they used to like mark out the penalty spot with that like green cone? Yes. And they all go on that big stick thing. You like pile them up on the stick. When they've got that's even worse, because you haven't...
Yeah, they've nicked them from the kids' football Sunday league or something.
If you are going to do it and look like a pillock in Hyde Park, do it properly. Don't half-ass it. Yeah, don't half-ass it.
Or also the move they do through those cones is quite icky. Like,
and you know they're showing
weaving
off. It's the showing off. I think that's what it is. That might be what is the ick. It's like, you know, people are going to watch you.
Yeah.
Well, PSA. People are watching you thinking, I've never been drier and you are an egg. So stop what you're doing and go to watch a film or something. Find a normal hobby. I mean, that's probably really hard. If you are out there and you do rollerblade,
you've got to keep to it.
Don't date me. Don't write it.
Yeah, just don't write it. Okay, we're going to do your bestie rec now. Your friend's summary of why someone should date you.
I'm actually devastated. This is going to be awful. My friends are quite savage, so...
Here are some reasons why you should date my amazing friend and be the luckiest guy in the world. Not only is she kind, funny and full of entertainment, you'll never be bored of being around her. She loves her food and loves to try new things. Her favourite food is sushi, so be sure to pick the best restaurant. Top points if there is an unlimited option, and the more raw, the better. She does love a night out and a dance, so be sure to take her to bar salsa so she can show off her hard work from her salsa classes. You won't regret it, as her hips don't lie. It has been said by a guy on Hinge she has better style than J-Lo, so if that isn't a good enough review, then I don't know what is. When you are on a date, no doubt there'll be no awkward silences, but if you do need some help on a talking point, ask her about the kilner jar story. It is one you don't want to miss. If all of this hasn't put you off and you still want to go on a date, check the lunar cycle that it isn't a full moon. She is not a werewolf, I promise. She'll just be too busy charging her crystals.
Oh my God.
It got more savage as it went on.
Firstly, we need to caveat, I absolutely despise sushi.
Why did she say that?
Because she knows how much I hate it.
Oh. Hence the rawer the better.
Disgusting. Like raw, you know, like the wet fish sushi.
No, I don't eat that. It's sashimi. It's grim. I can't eat that.
Do you know why I can't? Because in my head, I'm like, foreskin.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's the texture. It's cold,
and I'm
wet.
I wouldn't put foreskin in my mouth voluntarily. So I'm not putting sushi in my mouth voluntarily. And I don't like cucumber, and there's fucking cucumber in all of it.
Yeah, you're fucked if you don't
I can smell a cucumber
or
a mile
avocado.
off.
It's everywhere.
I say I don't mind avocado, but I can smell a cucumber a mile off. It makes me feel physically sick.
One of my old housemates had that. She literally like couldn't touch a sandwich if it like had it in.
I can smell it if someone else had it in their lunch after they finish lunch. I'm like, did you have cucumber? And they're like, stop. That's so weird.
I think I read it's like it's almost like a genetic thing that some people, it's like really strong for them.
Oh no, I can literally smell it across the room. Like it's horrendous. I'm like, you've got cucumber, and they're like, stop it.
Is it like soap for you?
Do you know what it is? I don't like weird mushy textures, hence not liking sushi and things like that. But cucumber, the taste, I don't mind the smell. The smell's not too much of an issue, but the taste reminds me of the wet mushy flavour, because it doesn't really have much. I don't think it has much flavour. I just think it's gross. And like, so when I smell it, I instantly go to like, blah, blah. It's like in my mouth. I like can't cope with it. Yeah, no. So sushi, hard pass. She's really trying to stitch me up with that one.
Nice.
I can't remember what else she said, but like, it's probably not true. She's probably rinsing me.
Bar salsa.
Okay,
She liked.
So people are going to be
Your face were like, oh yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine, I'll take that. So yeah, I've started like salsa dancing. So someone's going to be like, what an ick, what an awful hobby.
No, lots of my friends do that now.
No, it's like
apparently they're really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Like Thursday night salsa.
Although I'm like first class salsa class. I'm not looking forward to it. Like, it's so outside of my comfort zone to do something on my own without friends or like whatever. And I'm quite a confident person. I'm not like shy by any stretch of imagination. I finished my first salsa class and I rang my mum and was like, why didn't you tell me I'm autistic? And she was like, what? She was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I genuinely couldn't look at anyone. I could barely speak. And like, I just found it so uncomfortable for the whole of the first class. And I was like, oh my God, am I on the spectrum? Like, she was like, no, you're just being a nightmare. Like, what's wrong with you? The second class was absolutely fine. Like, everyone sort of relaxes a little bit, but I was a hot mess for the whole of the first one. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's really weird.
Yeah, so weird. Because I'm not like shy
not at all.
But yeah, in that situation, I think it's very close. I didn't anticipate. I don't know what was wrong with me. I went to the class thinking, oh, that's fine. We'll just like learn some of the moves. And then they were like, okay, so partner up. And I was like, huh? I don't know why I didn't anticipate that, because
you have to touch strangers.
And he was like, okay, so like get into hold, and it's very close. And like, I'm not an overly like touchy-feely person if I don't know someone. When I'm in a relationship, yeah, I love it. Like, I'm all for like a little like tap here and there, but a stranger?
Strangers,
like,
no, I would not want that.
Because I'm so short, I was mostly looking at people's like stomachs or chests. And they were like, smile and enjoy it. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, there's no way I'm looking up. I honestly want to die. So awful. I was basically looking at his belly the whole time, like, don't look up, don't look up. So bad. So yeah, bar salsa, that one I will take.
She got in the crystals, which is funny.
Oh, so ridiculous.
She also mentioned a story, and you were like,
no, we're not putting it. Like,
whoever can write in can find out about that story.
Yeah, that is my 4 or 5 drinks in story, because it's horrendous.
It's like your worst story ever.
Possibly. But all my friends know it, and they're like, oh, go on, just tell it one time. And I'm like, no. And like, if they're ever in a group and there's a stranger in the group, you can guarantee someone will go, has anyone told her about? And I'm like, stop throwing me under the bus. But it is very, very funny.
Well rehearsed with the story.
Yeah, it's very, very funny, mortifying, and It's devastating. There's no way I can put it out there. But I mean, get me drunk enough. I'll tell everyone. Yeah. I'll tell a whole room.
It's a great incentive to take you on a date. You're going to get the best story ever.
Yeah, no, it is. It's horrific, but it's funny. Like, it's funny to laugh at. I can laugh at it now. At the time, not so much.
Yeah. It's always like, in hindsight, funny.
Yeah.
They can be painful all the time.
But none of my friends can use a kilner jar now. Like, none of them use, like, even if I get sent pictures of kilner jars.
It's such
probably
a
once a month. Probably once a month. Like, haha. I'm like, stop. It's not funny. PTSD every time I see the word kilner.
Yeah, such a random thing as well.
I know. I'll tell you after because it is funny.
Oh yeah, I get to know. That's the benefit of being me.
Yeah. The world doesn't need to know, but you will get an insight.
I always do that. I'm like, yeah, you can tell me after though. Right? Okay, let's wrap up with your one-word review of yourself.
I would say the word that probably defines my personality would be vivacious. Is that said right?
Yeah, vivacious.
Vivacious, yeah.
Attractively lively and animated.
Animated for sure. Like, I can't sit still when I talk. It's really, really annoying.
I think it's a really good word.
But yeah, like, quite animated. I'm always up for like a laugh and like a bit of fun. Attractive. Okay.
I don't know why I said that.
We might have to reel that one back.
I don't know why.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
No, I think it's just like attractively lively and animated. I think so. It's like
my personality is lively and like yeah. So I'm not being like
not
I'm
saying
a 12
you're attractive.
out of 10.
It's attractive to other people that you're like warm and engaging.
Yeah,
I think is what it's meant to
I'm
say.
not going to sit here and be like I'm a 12 out of 10. You should pick me. But I would.
But you are.
But I am. No, I'm joking.
I can say that.
No, I wouldn't sit there and say that. But I would say I'm like my personality is quite like out there and lively and loud, and it definitely won't. There'll be no awkward silences, that's for sure. Like I'm quite easy to talk to, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You're sat there like, oh my God, are you joking?
Absolutely not. I think it's a perfect way to describe you. When you walked in the door, I was in a whole like frazzle and you were brilliant. You were just like, don't worry, it's fine.
I'll just sit here.
Yeah. Like, I've got all the time, don't worry. You were great. So yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I hope this goes well.
It will.
So, if you also think adults on scooters, rollerblades, or skateboards is an ick, maybe you have a stain that needs removing, or you're quite interested in crystals, contact the podcast to go on a date with this amazing individual. You can DM @SingleSounds on Instagram to get her details. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back next week with a lovely single male who may be a slight celebrity in the TV game show world. Slight teaser. And don't forget to buy your live show tickets. See you next week, guys. Bye.